Hmm.
My mom and my brother went to go see them speak, and that's when Dr. Wimbush was at Vanderbilt.
Wow.
Shout out to Dr. Raymond
I got
Wimbush.
you. I can
He's now at Morgan State University. Um, he was there, and he helped to bring them there, and they spoke on like a panel with other people. And I don't know why I didn't go. I know I was probably doing some other shit. I
Mhm.
was 11, so.
Yeah.
But I know Jawad was even talking about like the impact of the film, and Giancarlo was talking about the impact of the film because he's African and Italian,
Mm.
and how he interacted with the bugging out character and how he took it upon himself to kind of give a little more depth to the character because he was just like a simple b-boy, but he gave him a little more political slant, and also Jawad, and I didn't know this, my brother Demille talked about this, he mentioned this to me recently. Jawad's hair in the film, see, these are little things, you all, that like the film, you see the film but you don't get the full context of this during the time, and this is New York City, 88, right, late 80s. Her hair that was kinky in the film, she said that people used to give her grief for that in New York. Like everybody wasn't feeling that style because I guess they were used to the cropped afro, cropped afro,
Yeah.
smooth looking. So she had the kinky, naughty, what I'm saying, like bohemian hairstyle, and people was like cursing her out, like comb your hair, you know what I'm saying?
That,
And using other foul language, you know what I'm saying? But like but now that's like the norm now. Now,
hmm.
and again, it wasn't like it was unkempt, it just looks unkempt, but it was
Yeah.
very natural. But like but this is New York City 88. If her having that hairstyle down south or other places, people would definitely look at like, what's wrong with her? Like, did she come?
Without question. People
And
with locks during that time period would look
yo,
at that as, oh, I know
that's
what you're
Scott
talking
and
about.
all them guys, you know what I'm saying?
Crazy. I remember hearing my relatives say that many times. You got all the worms in your head. That thing, you know. What's that about? Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. And so we got the book. They signed the book. We got the Do the Right Thing, making the Do the Right Thing book, and both Giancarlo and Joao Lee signed it for my family. You know what I'm saying? So I had the book because I was like, yo, like to see them talking, like you said, it's not just like, oh, I did this film and here how it is. Like, nah,
Mhm.
here's the perspective. And I love that. I love it's still professional, but it's also very real, and
Yeah.
that's the generation we came from, is like it doesn't have to be this very stoic or very sterile rendition of what we did, but it is professional,
Yeah.
it is impactful, and it is real. It's very what do you call it, like existential, I guess you would say. Like
Hmm.
it's a very existential experience. Like, yo, I think this is how they sound. I can hear them saying it like this.
Hmm.
And that was really influential, man. In regard to like, damn, if Spike can do it, then I can do my own thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I want to be a
Whatever
part
that
of
might
something
be.
like that. You know?
Yeah, whatever it might be, man. I think um again, not having anything but that led me to like really be super into docs, you know what I mean? Um, and if anybody was writing a behind the scenes book, even if it wasn't in the same way that Spike did it, I would read it. You know what I mean? I read a bunch of books at the time, some years after that film came out, about the making of The Godfather, which is one of my all-time favorite films.
Hmm.
It was just kind of like, okay, this is what was happening to Francis. This is what was happening to Mario. This is what was happening. Oh, they didn't think this person would be good for this role. Really? Like, I can't imagine the film with this other person. Like, all of those things kind of let you into not just the creative part of it, but dealing with corporations and studios.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when you run out of money?
Hmm.
What happens if you're not, as a director, governing the space properly and giving the artist enough room to breathe? What type of director are you? Like, all of those things were in the book long before I ever thought that I would do any of those things. It
Hmm.
was just like his point was to demystify it. Yes, he went to film school
Right.
after he went to Morehouse. So
Yeah.
yes, he had the quote unquote training, but he himself said part of the reason to write those books was you don't have to go to film school.
Right.
You have to study the craft,
Yes.
and then you have to hone the craft, and then you have to work with other people. And that's what those books were full of. It
Yeah.
really was the process